Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is David Novak. We had to have some work done. Well, we opted to have some work done, which necessitated emptying out this bookcase or these bookcases. And most of this was not occupied with my books, but for this one little section in here. And in that place, I had a lot of reference books, which have fallen into disuse. Now you have the internet at your fingertips, and what do you need with all of these dictionaries and whatnot? So, for example, my old trusty Merriam-Webster's Collegiate Dictionary. Back in the day, I had 3 copies of this in different rooms in case I needed it real quick. Now, I just go onto the iPad and look up a word if I need, although it's never as good as what you find in a book. Maybe if you pay money for the complete service, you're in better condition. Now, this is not the only dictionary I had, although Merriam-Webster has always been my favorite one. I had the unabridged Merriam-Webster, which was a big thing. And it had some issues with the binding, not the binding per se, but the ends. It was somehow coming, the cover was always on the verge of coming undone from the book itself. And then one day I happened to spy in my half-price books the exact same dictionary done in 3 parts. Now, I'm omitting a step here because it's a little bit more complicated than that, but so this is in 3 volumes, and this is really magnificent. It makes you not have to strain yourself too much to look up a given word. And I was keeping them up in here at the top, and I used to have the alphabet letters marked so that I knew exactly which volume I was getting. It's really a wonderful book. I'll just stick it back in there for now. Well, I'll just set it in there like this for now. Now that is not the only dictionary I have. I also, believe it or not, have the Oxford, I think it is, complete multi-volume, which I inherited when a good friend of mine died about 8 years ago. And I've never used it. It went into the basement. There's no place for it here. Unfortunately, I've never really had place for the reference books Sorry, I have a cat up here, and I think we might be safe. I have a thing propped up in front of the camera so that hopefully it will not up. Okay, come on, baby. There we go. And did that shake things up too much? I think we're okay yet, yeah? Was I talking about books or something? Oh yeah, so I've never really had occasion to use it, and just with our living situation in this apartment, I've never been able to have my reference books easily accessible, which I would like. And again, with the internet age coming upon us, in most cases, it's not necessary. So pulling out all these old books, though, made me think I would like to do something of an archaeology of reference books. In the old days, if people who are not old codgers as I am might not realize how it was in the old days, getting information was not so easy. Now you just go to Wikipedia and there you have it. And so over the years, I built up a nice collection of reference books, falling in love mostly with the vast number of Merriam-Webster editions that were published. And I would like to show you those, but I will show you some others, even some atlases which were not in this little space. But let me show you this one, Merriam-Webster's Collegiate Encyclopedia. Now this is absolutely my favorite. It's just a wonderful book. It basically served the function of Wikipedia in the day. You needed to look something up and there it would be. Now, I think its slant is probably much more Western oriented than we have moved to be in the modern era. And so I am guessing that it is not as useful for me now as it once would have been. Now I have a cat down here who has not had his claws clipped recently, and if he decides to go manic, you will hear about it. So, I'm just looking at this. What is this? Protectors of Privilege. Red Squads and Police Repression in Urban America. I have not looked at this. This was for research. Ignore that book that I just pulled out. Pay no attention to that book. I'm just going to grab these as they come. You'll find that a lot of them are Merriam-Webster, but there are others. Now this is a $3 purchase, the Book of Chronologies. I never really used it very much. I didn't find the selections all that helpful. Now, one time, somewhere or other, I did see a big book of timelines, and that I liked very much. Wherever that was that I saw it, I could not afford the price, I would assume. And you probably needed better space for it, but that was very nice. Now, this is not Merriam-Webster. This is a dictionary of historic documents. It cost me 93 cents, so you can see why I picked that up. And it is what it says. If you look up. So let's see. Mussolini's Doctrine of Fascism. Principles advocated by Italian fascist dictator Benito Mussolini, published in the Encyclopedia Italiana, volume 14 in June 1932. And it goes on. I mean, haven't had much call to use it. Now, I would really like to have a setup where I had a nice dedicated bookshelf where all of these books were handy and I could just go and pull one out and look at it. Their reference books are very good just for browsing, if you will. Even the dictionary, which was a pastime at one time. Now, let me see. Some of these have duplicates. I must have gotten rid of the other one. This is Webster's New Biographical Dictionary. Now this is the kind of information that we just by second nature go online for now. In some respects, it's perhaps nicer than Wikipedia or just online, because you can open a book like this and you don't have to see all kinds of ads, or you don't have to find, you know, like let's see a name. So Komarov, Soviet cosmonaut in Soviet Air Force, and it gives dates and all that. Well, now if you looked up that, it would probably be some, you know, some software company or something, and then all you're going to see is information about this software company. So it would be nice to have this. Now, I had an older volume of this, and I think I must have discarded it for the newer edition, though I'm sure all of these are no longer being produced. And this one I picked up. I don't see a price tag, but I'm, you know, whatever I paid, it was never super useful to me, but I did like browsing through it here and there. Let's see what. So group, GRUPPE 47, group 47, informal association of German-speaking writers that was founded in 1947, hence its name. Group 47 originated with a group of war prisoners in the United States who were concerned with reestablishing the broken traditions of German literature. And it goes on. Nice stuff. Now this is one that I've hardly used. Ow, 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 ow. There, and he's not even going manic. He just decided to change his position, and in went the claws, just slightly. The Encyclopedia of World History. It seems like a very nice book. But again, it's the kind of thing that now you would probably be inclined to go on the internet, because it's a slim volume, and one thing that can be said in favor of Wikipedia is that Wikipedia is endless, and this has a limited purview, if you will. So let's pull out some other. Now this is just sitting on top, the Dictionary of Foreign Terms. I never found this overly useful. It seemed that, who is this? Charles Berlitz, huh? Yeah, okay. It was never useful, just because whatever the term was that I happened to need would not be in there. And then it would have, you know, terms that you didn't really need, like come va, Italian, how goes it? Well, that's not a foreign term. That's just Italian, you know. Now, oh, God knows what I have this for. It's something of a joke, as I recall, but they made you buy it for a class, and that's how that goes. Okay. Now this is an interesting thing. This is, whoops. Dear, I'm sure this damage was mine. Webster's New Dictionary of Synonyms. Now I had, and I don't know where, I had or could it be this one? No, I had a different one that was very much Dictionary of Synonyms and Antonyms. It was a bigger book than this, and it was a very nice book. Basically functioning as a thesaurus, but different to a thesaurus in some kind of way, and I don't remember. I don't know where it is. Maybe some of these are downstairs in the basement, I'm sure. I left up here what I figured would suffice to my needs. Of course, little did I know that the world was a-changing. And of course, Merriam-Webster's did put out a collegiate thesaurus. You know, who knows what a dictionary of synonyms could possibly be, but you know, the school wants me to buy a thesaurus, so there you go. And this, I'm sure I picked up just to round out my collection. Webster's Medical Desk Dictionary. Outdated, I'm sure. Maybe for some basic things it would be useful, but again, the Wikipedia is probably going to be better for you. But it was only $2. I mean, how can you pass that up? Now here's one that I've never really spent any time with. Oh, okay. Dictionary of English Usage. Of course, I don't know. I think we've moved on from a phase where there was any such thing as correct usage. This looks very nice. So this looks really, really wonderful. I must put this one out. You know how in the dictionary there will be a couple of words and they'll give a special note pertaining to those words, or even just a word like fulsome. And they'll have a note saying, oh, this word has been used. Well, let's look it up here. Let's see if fulsome is in here and see what they say. Let us see. Because I suspect they just took, oh, my. Oh, ho, ho. Oh, my. Oh, my. One page. 2 pages, 2.5 pages, all for fulsome. This looks really wonderful. How does it start out? When words formerly common come to be used rarely, the lexicographer may have some difficulty in interpreting them. Fulsome is such a word. It appears to have had some frequency in Middle English. The Middle English Dictionary lists 3 main senses. These appear to have subdivided and proliferated in the 16th and 17th centuries, particularly to judge from the evidence in the OED, the Oxford English Dictionary, which lists 7 main senses with 6 subsenses. And it goes on. This looks absolutely wonderful. You're going to be hard pressed, I think, to get information like this online. And then the Secretarial Handbook, which years ago I had a job where a different secretarial handbook was very useful to me in learning the correct way to address letters and that kind of thing. Of course, nobody cares anymore now, but in that world, that's how it was. So what salutation style? Now it would be nice to have a whole book dedicated to punctuation. You know, in the old days, old dictionaries would always have a section about, say, punctuation and stuff like that, and they would talk about the different styles of punctuation. Now we don't punctuate at all. Okay, now this one is really nice. This is a visual dictionary, and so it will take an item. Well, here's handbags. It gives you a bunch of different style of handbags and gives you some information about them. So there's a duffel bag, a carrier bag, a tote bag, an accordion bag, pruning and cutting tools. A passenger station, look at that. And it tells you kind of some of the information that you might need to know. Oh, my. Prison. Well, I'm sure that all of this is somewhat outdated now too. So there that is, a lovely book. Here, my rhyming dictionary. This used to be the best one that you could get. The online services are kind of poor. They don't serve. There are other print ones available, but this was always the best. And I even paid $9 for it, which is something I would not do unless unless it was an important book. Now, oh, okay, here we go. Let's see what we got. A couple more Merriam-Webster's, and then I'll probably breeze through some. This is Webster's Geographical Dictionary. I don't know if you can see it now. This book used to have a pretty bad smell to it, so I would keep it segregated from my other books, and it no longer seems to. I got a more recent edition, so I paid the $7 for that. I'm sure I didn't pay any more. There was a time when at half price books you would always see these things, and that's what they would sell them for, unless they had them in the clearance area. And for whatever reason, this one is more update. It's newer, so it has newer place names and stuff than this did. But I preferred this one. I think the spelling of things, it was always preferable to me for some reason, and I no longer can remember what that reason was. In the old days as a writer, I don't know if I said this, but it was a point I wanted to make, and I can't say it often enough. Having a good reference library at hand was the most important thing. Now these I just picked up. These Penguin. I guess I'm gonna. Well, I didn't mean to move into them, but there they were. These are shitty books. They're just crap. But I picked them up anyhow. So there you go. Now, if you want some real atlas, this is a Shepherd's Atlas, which I made a cover for it, and it's a lovely book, marred by the fact it was published by Barnes and Noble, and I don't know that Barnes and Noble ever really cared that much about the quality of their printing. They just wanted to move things. At least that's the impression I have. Although this is very well done, except for the fact that the pages have started to come out. But it's a great book, and I would love to have something like this, just a little bit bigger and newer. But of course, nobody is going to make something like this. Oh yeah, here's where a whole bunch of pages are coming out. Let me bookmark this. And one advantage to pages coming out, probably the only advantage, is that I can show you. There's Africa, you know. And I had a bookmark, I guess, so that I would be aware of where all of these are coming out. It's just pathetic. I would love to have one where the pages were not coming out, but I think I did come across another copy of it at one time in a used store, and the pages on that one were coming out also. I should see if somebody else printed one besides Barnes and Noble. And then back in the day, and possibly still, this one, Phage, was the atlas to have as far as Africa. I don't think I ever required too much use of this. It might help me out now. So those are the main atlases. I have, of course, a big atlas that must be over there. You probably don't care to see that. So here we get into the new. Please. Sorry. You. And this, believe it or not, was just something I found in the neighborhood box one day, and so I snapped it up. I've never used it, and oddly enough, it's a book that comes around frequently in the neighborhood book boxes. I don't quite know why. I only picked it up the one time. Now, here's one that I haven't used too much, but Black's Law Dictionary. Law is something that writers of poetry probably don't need too much of. And you know, there was another book, a reference book that I had that I guess I didn't bring over here. It was a very slim book. It was called Latin for Lawyers, and I didn't bring it over, and I've never found that particularly useful either. Now, I used to have nice bilingual editions of Spanish, French, Italian, and Latin, and those are probably in the basement, not being something I've needed very much. And nowadays, of course, any translation you can do just as well online. But I have with them some of my old foreign language. Let's try to put them so that they're all facing one way. Is that right? So you've got Korean, which was very useful on one occasion years ago in Korea, 40 years ago. And this used to be my go-to. This was Chinese English, I guess, and then its counterpart was English Chinese. So one went one way and one went the other way. English Japanese, which I've never had any occasion to use, and this is just another. I think this just another Chinese, which I think gives you both directions. And you know, this concise English Chinese dictionary, they also produced a Japanese dictionary, concise English Japanese dictionary, and there's a great YouTube video of a guy taking an edition that looks just like this, that's been all mucked up, and unbinding it and cleaning the pages and drying them out and fixing it and making it almost like new again. It's really a neat video to watch, but it's the concise Japanese dictionary. And then, of course, just before I was practicing Chinese for a while, and then I got sick, and that kind of ended that. It's one of those things that happens, and this is really the best as far as a good Chinese English dictionary. Really a lovely, lovely book. I mean, all those years struggling with those little ones. I mean, this is just marvelous. And I think that is the end of the immediate set of reference books. So this video has gone on a lot longer than you would have expected. I'm happy to show these books off to you. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to do with them. Hopefully to put the more usable ones in a prominent position, and then make an effort to try to use them some more. But I have gotten in the habit of just going on to the iPad as well. I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for stopping by my channel.